Are you wondering what's wrong with your lawn? Well, if you have these patches, you need to act fast. In my region of Utah, we are just coming out of winter. The lawns are still dormant. They're not growing very much, but we've got one thing in common. A lot of lawns have this sneaky little booger. It looks like a nappy, wet dog's fur that's all matted up in the lawn. In years past, we just haven't gotten a ton of snow. So this year, everybody's gonna be on freak out mode. A lot of you guys aren't gonna know what it is until it's absolutely too late. The reality is, the more you ignore it, the worse it's going to get, to the point where you're gonna have to replant your grass. In our mountain regions, it's spreading like a wildfire, and it's not always gonna be the entire lawn. Sometimes it's just little sections like this one. Other times it starts getting in larger areas like this. Now, when it comes to snow mold, this is the problem. We have all this dead, matted material. Now, this matted material does not allow anything to penetrate through it. And I want to show you a couple of things. We just kind of lightly rake this upward. You're going to start noticing we actually have good live tissue underneath it, but it's already starting to mold. Now, they call it gray snow mold because of this. You actually have live spores right here underneath it that look like webbing. So what we're trying to do is to release the water to stop this gray snow mold from happening. This is one of the more severe cases of early onset of snow mold in my neighborhood, and it's pretty bad. Now, when you see it, you immediately know that something is wrong and that something needs to be corrected. Now, oftentimes the mistake that we make is neglecting these lawn problems, and if you have this problem, you need to act fast. Now, with most funguses, the best thing you can do is eliminate the water. So our first step to fixing this kind of issue is to lightly rake the grass upward so we can release this water. Now, in this instance where the grass is early onset matted, the hopes are it's not slimy underneath the matted mess. Pretty obvious to notice that this area we have not treated, and this area we simply raked out. This area we did not. Now, when we get on top of the grass, now that we've lifted it up, you can see that we do have some damages that have occurred. We've lost a lot of density and root mass in here, and you can visibly see a lot of the topical thatch or the roots on top of the soil have been damaged to the point where it's probably not going to grow back. However, the nice thing about bluegrass is it kind of spreads. So if you have a spreading species like bluegrass, it will grow back together. But for those of you who don't, this is why we look at seeding over the top of everything. You'll notice here we have new growth coming in, and this growth would have potentially have died had we not raked it up, because there wouldn't have been enough oxygen and sunlight penetrating in here, which is another reason why you cannot ignore this dead matter. The hand raking was taking a while, so I decided to take matters into my own hands, and I grabbed the Joe dethatcher and Scarifier just to see if it'd speed things up a bit.
Man.
So what do you think about the little machine?
I think it's amazing.
I was 50-50 if this Joe was going to do the job well, but it does way better than using the rake.
Oh my gosh.
And it's the craziest part is it's not invasive in the grass. Like, it's not pulling up a ton of dead grass. The point of this exercise is just to get the grass to lift up.
Well, it is. It's perfect. All of the matted down stuff is gone.
Which is the point of it, but I don't want to be scraping the surface.
Breathe now, right?
Yeah, ding, ding, ding. Yeah, we gotta let it breathe. Gotta let it breathe, baby. Now, I've said this time and time again, but the Joe dethatcher is one of my all-time favorite lawn tools. Like, if you're gonna splurge on one thing, get one of these devices. So simple to use. This sped up the project by 1000%. Like, it's much faster and a lot less invasive on the grass. When I was hand raking it, I was getting a lot of clumps coming out. Now with this though, I'm gonna do an additional pass. So I'm gonna do two passes. I'm gonna do one horizontally and one vertically, and then I'm gonna call it.
afterwards.
You can take a leaf blower and blow the top off, but you want to make sure that you don't do it harsh enough that you're ripping the grass out of the lawn. Go to step number 2. Now we're going to want to give it a day or two before we mow and let it kind of dry out. Now the last thing we want to do is mow wet, soggy grass because we're not getting a nice clean cut. And more oftentimes than not, we're going to be yanking on the grass and we could potentially be pulling out some of the grass that is still alive. You're going to grab your mower and you're going to take the height of cut down a notch from what you're normally used to doing. You're going to scalp that top right off. If you choose not to rake the lawn and lift it up, it's going to affect the vacuum of the mower, which is going to make it far more difficult to cut the top of the grass off to resolve the problem. Man, oh man, would you look at this? It doesn't even look like the same lawn anymore. It's amazing what a little bit of oxygen will do and scalping the deadhead right off the top. Now we're gonna get some nice new fresh growth. Everything's gonna go well. Once the top of the grass is off and everything starts looking more clean, you have a couple of optional things to do. I highly recommend fertilizing. I want to put some fertilizer on it, but I want to make sure that the potassium levels are up. Potassium really helps with cold weather hardiness. Now, for those of you who are a little bit confused about the numbers, first number is nitrogen, second number is phosphorus, which helps with root development, third number is potassium, which is overall health. Now, I want to give it a good boost of growth with the springtime coming here, but I need that potassium to work because it helps with cold weather hardiness and overall health. So those are the two numbers that I'm focused on. Now, a lot of you guys out there think, okay, Ginja, I'll just go get a fungicide and everything will be just fine. Well, fungicides in these occasions, from my experience, are good for preventive measures. So you can't look at it as being curative because the damages are already done. Now, would I still apply a fungicide in this instance? It doesn't hurt because you want to prevent more of these issues from sprouting up.
Lawn aeration is a great tool to increase airflow, increase drainage, and decompact the soil. With that said, aeration serves more as a supplemental help service to prevent more snow mold from occurring. The real issue is lawn aeration will not lift up and repair the matted grass that is causing the dysfunction.
Lawn. You can also overseed the lawn because when it comes to snow mold, you're rotting out both the grass topically and the roots down below. So having fresh grass seed down, taking advantage of springtime seeding is a great option.
General broadcast overseed applications are recommended where damages to the lawn were limited to areas thinning out but not bald. Having the lawn aerated before seeding is a bonus because it helps increase seed to soil contact. For a general overseed, I recommend 2 to 3 pounds of grass seed per 1,000 square feet. I highly recommend purchasing a grass seed that is the same species that you already have.
Let's just say that you discovered this problem a little bit too late and you tug on the grass and it's all slimy and it's all just coming up. The only other option at this point is to rebuild the lawn. I prefer to use a patch kit. This one by Turfman is awesome. You can see I just scoop the cup and I put it down and I keep it wet for about 3 weeks or damp for about 3 weeks, and I got new grass growing. Now the other option is to get a piece of sod, cut it out, and to patch it in. At the end of the day, if you discover you've got moldy, matted grass, you need to get on it faster than fast. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, hit me up in the comments down below. Till next time, guys, it's the Pest and Lawn Ginja. We're slaying lawns.